Hello, teacher and classmates. Today we are going to talk about the the book that it's called Teaching, Listening, and Speaking from Theory to Practice. This presentation is present to you by the pre-service teacher as me, Luis Fernando Martinez. This presentation is related with the Library Cambridge University Press. In the first part, we're going to talk about the chapter number 4, and the title is Awareness Activities Raising. First, start to talking about with this chapter, we need to understand what is the meaning of the awareness. In these processes is very important because these concepts come from the cognitivist learning theory that means as a prerequisite for the restructuring of the learner's mental representation of the language. This element and organ in our body, it's important because it includes the following processes. Number one, the attention. The attention is important to the processes of to the process of learning because the students or the learners will must be interested, attention, in alert to the is, stimulus around here, around them, and it's important to understand the environment of the learning processes. Number two, noticing. Why is important this element in this part? Because the learnings must be registered the events that occurring or happens around us. And the last one is the understanding. Understanding is is a great element because we need to implement um, a recognition of a role, of a principle, of a pattern for understand many topics of the life. Let's continue with the presentation. Now we're going to talk about the basic procedures. How can how many activities or strategies we can implement in our classes for make a great class or lesson plans for us our students. To the following steps, we can do many strategies for our students. In the first part is the activate the background knowledge or the previous knowledge. What the students know previous to the present the class. In this part, the learners or the teacher, we can establish the topic or the context. It's to present what is the environment to understand the class and for for start the class and present the topic. And then now we must to check register. It's necessary to to establish the variables and register in the notebook or in the table that we can see what is the variables or the factors that implement in this part. When the students are learning a new topic or related with the speaking and the listening skills, when they need to understand many variables or the rubric of the study, for they can have a objective of learning. The number three is the check adjust. They need to play this track and ask the GIS question. This is our open spaces and this the learners can to present questions to the teacher and the teacher to answer them. Let's continue with the presentation. Now we can see the check details. Check details, it's very important because we need to understand and to review what is the set provide, task to complete questions, and in a table, and, and how to review what is the question in the part of the text for understand what is the time in the turn that the student can participate in the conversation and dialogues. Number four, sorry, number one, two, three, four, five. Five is the listening rate. When we can't and in our front us a conversation or a dialogue, we can listen many times and read many times again for for understand and for improve our language skill. In this part, the teacher hang out the transcription for the students and then they can improve the language skills. And the next is the focus on the language features. In this part, the student can identify, classify, um, right, and select the words that is important in the text. For example, um, when we have a text, uh, we need to understand uh, the context. The activity for this part is underline or circle the word, and then with the help of the dictionary, uh, to find what is the meaning of this word. And and the next is the focus and the organization. We need to invite to see the general structure of the text. It's a continuous text or a text with the many pictures that complement this text. Is a biteable or is a different text because it's not the same a text for a song them, but it's different for a text for a presentation, for example. Focus on the social rules. We can prepare the social cultural the space for understand what is the the participation, what are the holidays, the to the people for them, and focus focus on the communication strategies. It's important where to the students improvise some dialogues with relaxing, when a relaxed environment with the teacher and with the help of the another classmates. Then we can resolve doubts. We need to open the space to have the opportunity to the students ask um, many questions about the text or the dialogues. In the second part of the basic procedure is the focus on the topic shifts. We need to choose a dialogue with many points of view. It's important to understand many overview of the points of view to the participations. Then focus on the performance effects. We need to to ask to identify the features that have an implement in these dialogues. Focus on speech acts. We can try with situations in mind. It's not the same when we read simple text. Now, when we use a corporal body language, it's more incredible to press. It's a great performance when we try with mimes. Then focus on discourse markers. When the slangs, when we use words as such a well, so, oh, I mean, it's we can we can try many another words to complement our dialogues. And this is um, a common participation in dialogues for the real life. Focus on the vocabulary. Use dialogues with high frequency vocabulary. When we use a high frequency vocabulary, it's most common for the students to participate, to interpret these dialogues and conversation because it's very, very common for them. Focus on the lexical chunks. When we use slangs for verbs, common phrases, It's another way to express uh, many sentences that we can use in the conversations with the students and the teachers. Focus on the stress and intonation. Let's pay attention to me when I read this part. Recording to practice the stress and intonation. It's not the same when I read recording to practice the stress and intonation. This part it's very very important because we can put our personal performance and it's a part a important part for presenters to another people what I mean. So this is all the presentation of all the presentation, and it's a great part to conclude the following structure. When we use strategies and the students um, can we present dialogues and conversation with common phrases, it's important to implement many strategies that help us or that help them um, to understand how how can I do when I read and when I present or I am dramatize very dialogues in the classes. Thank you, teacher and classmate, for this space.